Yep, so I think they said okay in the booth, but yep, go on air whenever ready and I'll start. Perfect. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, February 9th, 2026 meeting of the Lunenburg Planning Board. This is a hybrid meeting, so we are in person here at the Bellotta Meeting Room at our beautiful town hall. In addition, you can also attend this meeting remotely. The meeting is being recorded. And if you're watching at home on public access and you want to join in the fun, or if you're watching on Facebook and want to join in the fun, you can. And what you're going to do is you will go and one, you could drive downtown and join us, or two, you can go onto the town website, to the Agenda Center, get the agenda, and click on the link for Zoom. It also gives you the call-in info if you would rather call in with your phone. So you have options for participating from home tonight. Thank you very much. I do want to let people know a couple things before we dive into the rest of the meeting. And those being that we have currently 2 members remote tonight. Tim Wilsmer and Amanda Reed are remote. Adam Burney will be joining us remote in a bit, is the plan. So he will be coming into the meeting later. But I am the only board member who can be physically present tonight. That changes very little for people who are in the room, aside from really wanting to make sure we can get the presentations. Just make sure you're using the microphone well, please. Great, we have that. I also want to let people know that if you are here tonight for the One Main Street project, which is that is their proposed dunks at the old bank that had everyone's pants in a twist on Facebook. They have withdrawn that application. There was, I don't need to get into everything right now, but there were other issues. It wasn't planning. That's a zoning issue separate. But they have withdrawn that application. So we will not be covering that tonight, even though it's on the agenda. Similarly, if you're here for 30 Summer Street, I believe they're requesting a continuance, correct? Okay, so we do not plan to be hearing from them tonight. Great. Now I keep thinking I can hear myself in a little bit. It's because my laptop audio was on. So I had the echo, that's better. Okay, great. So with all of that said to get us going, next on the agenda would be board comment. As a reminder to the public, the planning board does not have an open public comment section. If you are a member of the public and want to speak on something we're covering tonight, even if it's not a public meeting, it's obviously a public meeting, even if it's not a public hearing, we're generally receptive to that. So feel free to raise your hand and let us know. And we, of course, have to take public comment during public hearings. If there's ever something you want to bring up as a public comment before the planning board, and it's not something that's on the agenda, reach out to the office or reach out to me ahead of time, and we can work to get you on the next agenda. We can put something on there that would be appropriate for that topic. We're not looking to stifle. We are looking to keep things focused. Great. Is there any board comment to open the meeting?
I have none.
All right.
None for me.
Thank you. Okay, then I will move us on to chair and directors' reports. This is my favorite chair report of the past 2 years. Friends, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Stephen Wallace. Stephen is our new director. Oh, we can applaud. We can applaud. I'm happy. Stephen joins us from the town of Sterling. He has worked in other towns as well in North Central Mass. He knows the area. He is extremely well-versed, highly competent, and with a lot of history in planning. He is going to be an excellent addition to our team here. And our office is fully staffed. I'll take that. That is a wonderful feeling, and I am looking forward to the productivity and ease of mind we will have with an expert in the office. Thank you, Stephen. That is, looking at my notes, I think that's all I have for my report things. Now I would hand it over for the director's report.
I have nothing to report at this time.
He's been with us a week, that's fair. Excellent. Okay. Great. I'm going to hit things in a slightly different or in a different order than the agenda tonight. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up. Normally we hit A&Rs first. I'm going to move that to later in the meeting. I want to open with our Scenic Roads public hearing because we do have Bill Bernard, our DPW director, with us tonight. So we're going to open with that because he's the town tree warden. He is involved in that. I want to respect our employees' times. From there, we will move on to the other public hearings, and we will put the A&R for 1083 Northfield Road with the other content for Northfield Road, so we're not making you get up and down a whole bunch in the second portion. Great. So I'm going to move us forward to the continued, I think it's, this. We're not opening it for the first time. Are we opening it for the first time tonight?
I listed it twice because we continued it because of the hearing that has to be opened. And we're
Oh, because it was for our last meeting, which was snowed out, and that's why it's continued.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, so we do need to open this public hearing. Amanda, are you good to read that? Or if not, I have the stuff here too.
No, I can. Just to confirm, it's the 1083 Northfield Road for the scenic road alteration?
Yeah, it was the Scenic Road, that's correct.
Okay, perfect. The Lunenburg Planning Board will hold a joint public hearing with the tree warden in accordance with provisions of Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 8, Sections 3 and 4, on February 9th, 2026 at 6:05 p.m., Town Hall, 17 Main Street, Lunenburg, Mass., to hear and review an application for scenic road alteration pursuant to MGL Chapter 40, 15C by Ryan Proctor on behalf of Tanner S. Cole for removal or relocation of approximately 40 linear feet of the existing stone wall along the property frontage and the removal of 2 white pine trees, 30-inch diameter each. Subject property information, the location is 1083 North.
Recording in progress.
Sorry.
That's okay. The location is 1083 Northfield Road, Assessor's Map 55, parcel number 2. Owner is Tanner Cole, 856 Mass Avenue in Lunenburg, Mass. 01462. Objections to the removal of these trees must be received in writing prior to or at the public hearing. Please direct questions about this proposed removal to the tree warden. Information is William Bernard, DPW Director and Tree Warden at 520 Chase Road, Lunenburg, Mass. Email is wbernard@lunenburgma.gov. You can view materials online at lunenburgma.portal.opengov.com/search with record ID PBSR-25-2 via an email request to the planning office, planning@lunenburgma.gov, or in person at the planning office at 960 Mass Avenue in Lunenburg.
Excellent. All right. So we haven't had one of these before the board in a bit. So the quick reminder for the people watching at home, we have 4 roads in town that are designated as scenic roads. Super paraphrasing the bylaw to make it quick and easy for everyone. If you're doing work on a scenic road that involves either I mean, it doesn't have feelings, but that involves altering an existing stone wall, those quintessential New England stone walls, or removing trees above a certain diameter. I don't remember the diameter off the top of my head. Is it 8 inches, 6 inches?
Not sure. We have to look.
Anna, do you know that one off the top of your head? Pretty sure it's 8 inches. I think it's 8. Okay. But so what it is basically to help keep roads that have been designated as scenic, if you're doing work in the town's right-of-way, you need to be maintaining what the state has considered scenic in those cases, stone walls and large shade trees, effectively. All right, and so this is to hear about that. I think I'd go to Mr. Roy first, who is presenting on it, unless, Bill, if you wanted to speak first on it in some way. I don't care.
Well, and just Mass General Law, Chapter 87 also says any shade tree within the public right-of-way cannot be cut without a hearing.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Greg Roy, Dillson Roy. I'll be really brief. We did open this, actually, but we didn't have the hearing scheduled because at the time, we didn't think we were cutting trees. But I corrected that record, and that's when we determined that we had to table it. And so we prepared this exhibit plan in advance of this meeting. There's 2 trees. It's a little difficult for you folks to see, and probably for the folks at home, almost impossible. But on either side of the driveway, and this light can signal an aircraft, I think, there's a tree here and there, one on both sides, and they're 30-inch white pines inside the right-of-way. So those are the 2 shade trees that we're proposing to remove. The other thing, and we did mention this last time, we are proposing to remove approximately 40 lineal feet of existing stone wall. At the hearing, and you may recall this now, you asked us to add some notes to the plan requiring that the stones not be disposed of, but be used to supplement the wall, the existing wall on site. The existing wall, it's not, while it is a stone wall, it meets the definition of a stone wall, it's not a pristine New England stone wall, so it could definitely use to have some augmenting to it. So we will propose to, to place those stones on the existing wall to supplement that, so that they won't be lost. And if we can, we may have to we're removing 40 feet of the wall. We may be able to rebuild some of it. So just up to where the driveway is. So we have to remove it to grade, but then once we grade, we can kind of build, a couple feet on each side of the wall back in.
The shared driveway.
Correct. Yep. So that's it. 2 trees, removal of 40 lineal feet of wall, and the wall stones will be reused on site to augment the existing wall.
All right, and you've proposed to replace those 2 trees with red maple, is that correct?
I think so.
Was that you think so or you don't think
Yes,
so?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, down here.
Great. Okay, so I have that in my notes, but I'm not looking at the formal doc at that moment, so,
Do
okay.
you have a size on those trees? That you're going to put, the red maples that you're going to put?
3-inch caliper is what we have on the plan. So not a fairly good size.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Bernard, please.
Okay. So I did not receive any feedback on this at all. So at this time, I would ask the public or anybody if they have any objections to removing the 2 trees.
Great, and this is a fine time for public comment. I'll hear board thoughts as well, but let's hear from the public. Again, it's a public hearing. Now, if you are at home on Zoom, go ahead and use that hand raise feature to let me know you want to speak. If that's not working and you need to unmute and say, hey, Matt, me, that's fine, okay? Works a little better with the hand raise, but they keep changing the layout. I get it. I am seeing no public comment in the room. I am seeing no public comment in Zoom.
I do have a couple comments from Planning Board, Adam, that he sent over this morning, a couple proposed conditions that I'd like to run by you here.
Absolutely.
The proposed red maple trees will be installed and certified by the tree warden before an occupancy permit is issued for the first house, the first one. The work proposed as mitigation on the stone wall will be completed and certified by the planning director before the issuance of the first occupancy permit. And lastly, the stone wall restoration will begin with the areas most closely adjacent to the proposed driveway and move, as much as practicable, equally along the wall on both sides until all the stones removed from the driveway entrance have been placed back into the wall. Any issues?
We are getting a thumbs up of support from the applicant. Okay, great. I'll turn to board members. Do we have other thoughts or comment? Again, those were thoughts from Mr. Burney, who will be joining us later in the meeting, but knew he was going to miss the beginning of it. Ms. Reed or Mr. Wilsmer, do you have any other questions or thoughts or anything of that nature?
My only concerns was making sure that there was some kind of replacement happening and that we had something in place to make sure that happened. So I am happy with what Mr. Burney outlined.
Great. Thank you, Tim.
I have a general, I guess, question. I know we thought about working on the scenic road bylaw a couple years ago, and we were going to get more specific when it came to replacements of trees that are taken down on these scenic roads. Personally, I don't think a maple really is a great replacement for a white pine, but I do understand the need, and I'm okay with the need of taking those trees down. They're probably about middle-aged right now at 30 inches. So I understand that. I'm just wondering in the future if that's something that we can look into. Because, we've had some tree replacements, not specifically this one. We did another one where the replacement trees I don't think were adequate in comparison to what was there before. So I just want to make a comment. I'm fine with this, going forward as presented, but I just, I think it's worth taking a look at that.
Amanda, I just want to echo and say I appreciate that. You're never going to hear me complain about more maple trees in the world, but that comes from someone who taps his own, so maybe I've got an inherent bias in my heart. But no, and I know the project you mean. I remember one of our concerns being that effectively they weren't even native trees, nor did they match the natural landscape of the area. So I would agree on that. I'd hope we can look at that going forward. I think as we get the final steps in the master plan solidified, that will help arm us with some recommendations from the public along that regard as well.
As your new planning director, one of the things I'm asking the board members for homework is I'd like to get your prioritized list of things you want your planning department to work on over the next couple years. If each of the members could put that together and send it directly to me, not the full board, let's see what agreement the board members have in terms of priorities, and we can discuss this at one of our upcoming meetings and put together a work plan.
And again, that's always that email process is always handled that way for open meeting law. It prevents that scenario where it even appears that we're having discussions in private. Great. Okay. So I'm hearing general support from the board. I am hearing no public comment against. I have seen or heard and seen in front of me three conditions to be tacked on that the applicant has signaled they find acceptable. Mr. Bernard, do you find those conditions acceptable as well?
Yes, so hearing no objections to taking down the trees, I would give permission to take down the trees with those conditions.
Okay, and that still requires, I believe, that requires a vote from the board as well, because they need the two-pronged, if I remember correctly. So, well, first, this is a public hearing, so we do have to close the public hearing, then vote. Anything else on this before, or I would accept a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I am always going to go Amanda, then Tim, in order of operations for calling the vote. It is a roll call vote. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
Oh yeah, and an aye from myself. Public hearing is closed. I would look for a motion such as to approve the, it's not special, to approve the,
Scenic road alteration.
thank you, scenic road alterations with the three conditions as previously discussed.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
And an aye from myself. All right.
Okay, so tomorrow I will write up the decision, forward it to the board to make sure that I've got the language right. Once it is right, we'll get it signed and filed with the town clerk.
Great. Super. Bill, thank you for joining us tonight. Okay. I am looking, I had the attack plan that I thought made sense. What is what's left on 1080, on 1083 Northfield for tonight?
Let's move on to the decisions that you're
Yep,
supposed.
right, because that was the,
Right.
okay, thank you. That is correct. I'm like, we were going, because the decision, because we were going to look at that's right, we were, okay.
You've got the shared driveway decision.
Yep. So what I'm
You've got
gonna,
the stormwater decision,
okay,
and the applicant has proposed some de minimis changes.
okay,
Which
so
I-
what I am going to have us, actually, what I'm going to have us do then, because this is going to be, because we have to review a couple decisions, and that reviewing those decisions could impact the other items, and I'm going to put this just a little later in the meeting. I want to get through what I think will be briefer things first, and then we will return and wrap up all of that at once. So I'm going to move us on to 301 Mass Ave, site plan approval. This is a new public hearing. Do we have the applicant here for 301 Mass Ave?
Yeah, actually, I'm online. You got
Okay,
Greg
great.
North Bowler.
Mr. Bowler, thank you. I am going to, we have to open, Mr. DeBona, I am going to have us open the public hearing, and then we can get going.
Right.
Give me 1 second. I'm just pulling it up now. Okay, just to confirm, this is for PBSA-25-9.
Let me go back to this. Yes.
Okay, perfect. The Lunenburg Planning Board will hold a public hearing on January 26, 2026, currently moved to February 9th, 2026, at 6:05 PM, Town Hall, 17 Main Street, Lunenburg, Mass., to hear and review an application for site plan approval pursuant to 250-8.4 of the Code of the Town of Lunenburg by Lauren Sagasser Bowler, Walmart Real Estate Business Trust, modify the existing parking striping and signage, resulting in an overall reduction in the number of parking spaces while expanding the number of pickup parking spaces. Subject property information, the location is 301 Mass Avenue, Assessors Map 74, parcel number 73. Owner is Lunenburg Village Realty Incorporated, 1 Main Street, Lunenburg, Mass. 01462. You can view materials online at lunenburgma.portal.opengov.com/search with record ID PBSA-25-9 via an email request to the planning office, planning@lunenburgma.gov, or in person at the planning office, 960 Mass Avenue in Lunenburg, Mass.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Mr. DeBona, if you wish to begin.
Yeah, great. Appreciate it. Thank you. Again, Greg DeBona with Bowler, civil engineering partner with Walmart on this project. So we're here basically just to talk about the changes to the Walmart parking lot. Some pretty minor adjustments that we're trying to make, mostly relating to relocating their online pickup parking spaces. They have 8 spots out there today. They're located right in the front parking field, directly across from the main entrance to the store. We're actually looking to move those to the side parking lot, directly adjacent to where the garden center is. So much further away from the main flow of travel. Definitely provide better separation from for the employees and for the customers and people that are actually going into the store versus those who are using the online grocery ordering feature. As part of the relocation, we are looking to increase the pickup stalls. Right now there's 8. We're going to increase it to 13. And, provide a new crosswalk from the pickup door that's kind of facing the back of the store over by the garden center over to the side parking lot. The rest of the parking lot will get restriped and cleaned up, improved with new pedestrian crossings, stop bars, stop signs, basically just kind of a refresh of the entire Walmart parking lot, make it look new and clean when it's all said and done. We do lose a total of 16 parking spaces as part of these adjustments. And one part of that, a large piece of that, is just improving the amount of cart storage containers that are out in the parking field as well. So that helps to just, again, avoid as many loose carts. The more storage containers we have, the more likely people will use them and put the carts in those designated locations. And that's part of what generates some of that reduction in parking. But overall, the site definitely complies with the parking requirements of the code. We have substantial parking on site. So we're not asking for any sort of relief. It's really just the approval to adjust the location of those stalls and move them from the front to the side.
Okay, I've called up, I've called up the plans on the screen share so people at home can see as well, and people in the room, if you can, you're welcome to turn to the monitors and take a look. Currently, for those who have been to Walmart in town, the previous, or the current pickup location is here on the plans, and that's not showing on the, I don't think my cursor is showing on the map. That's unfortunate.
It does, it's just,
Oh, it
We
is?
can see it
Okay.
online. Yeah, we can see it
Great.
online.
And and we're looking over, and the new parking is going to be over here by the Seasonal Garden Center on the side. Is that location correct?
That is correct. Yep, that's correct.
Okay. All right. Great, thank you. What would you like us to know about this, Mr.?
Okay, well, we'll start with the board comments. Adam Burney did
Yep.
submit a few comments that I'll read here tonight. Other Walmarts that have installed similar facilities have included the installation of a canopy in the pickup area. This is a question. Is this a long-term plan that may include a canopy at this location? If so, it may be a good idea to include the canopy in this application as a Phase 2 to avoid having to file for another site plan approval if you do go for the canopy. And then lastly, what is the anticipated time frame for the start of this project, and how long will it take to complete?
Great. I can jump in on both those.
Please.
So the canopy project was something that Walmart was implementing over the past couple of years. They've actually gone the opposite way now. We actually have a lot of these sites throughout New England that we're taking the canopy out. So the canopies are going away. Most locations that you see them at now will not have them going forward. So this store will not have a canopy. We're not proposing to add any new canopies. As far as the timing goes, right now on Walmart's schedule, this would be starting this summer. So an ideal start would be July. And the project, typically on the exterior work, is about a month of work, mostly just all restriping and new signage. So it's a pretty quick project.
So over the summer and into fall?
Yes, should be wrapped up by fall. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Questions from board members at this time or comments?
No questions from myself.
None for me.
Okay. I have a question that's kind of a vague concern as I'm processing the plans and as I look at them. I just want to make sure I understand, because I do see that this pickup would be along the primary truck access as well.
That's correct.
And I'm envisioning a scenario where you have cars backing out into that truck lane. And I'm assuming there's been thought put into why this won't be an issue. And I'm just curious, what causes it to not be a concern here? Or what have you worked in mitigating factors, or is it timing, or?
Yeah. So again, the most of the activity for the pickup, where it gets the busiest, is the evening time. After work is the most popular pickup time, and that tends to not correspond with the busiest time for the truck deliveries and the truck movements. They tend to happen very early morning, as opposed to the later evening time. We do add the pedestrian stop pedestrian crosswalk delineation out there, whereas there isn't one now out in that area. So that also helps kind of basically create that stopping condition where any traffic that goes around the side of the building, whether it's truck traffic or anybody just from the public that decides to drive on the side, will now be sitting at basically a stop condition. So if people are going there to pick up their groceries, they will be able to have pretty much full movement in the drive lane without worrying about interacting with others. Plus the turnover, the amount of activity that takes place in the front of the store, directly where all the rest of the customers are coming in and out, there's a much higher turnover. There's a lot more interaction there with the rest of the shopping, rest of the people pulling in and out of the ADA accessible parking spaces. So that turnover is actually has more potential of concerns than being on the side. That's really what's motivating Walmart to move them from the front of the store to the side of the stores, in which we're doing at all their locations.
You know, you bring that up, and I think of how much I enjoy not hitting people with my car in that parking lot, and that sounds better by the minute.
Yeah.
That Walmart is popular during the day.
Yes.
All right. Okay. I'll turn to members of the public. This is a public hearing. Do we have members of the public who wish to speak on this topic? You're welcome to, again, use that hand raise feature in Zoom, or let me know if you're here in the room. I see applicants and our select board contact in the room, so nothing here. I do not see anything in Zoom. All right. Okay. Stephen, is there anything that, in your estimation, we are missing here or will want or should really have called out to us that?
No, I think your standard conditions for site plan approval will suffice in this instance.
Say this looks really, in the grand scheme, this looks comparatively straightforward.
This, yeah, I would consider this a minor site plan.
Great. All right. If there are no more questions from the board and you feel satisfied that we can reach a decision, I would accept a motion to
Close the
that was it, to close the hearing, yeah. Okay, to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All right, roll call vote. Mrs. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer?
Aye.
And an aye from myself. The hearing is closed. Do y'all feel this is, to me, this feels very straightforward. Are we on the same boat here?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the only concern was making sure they, hit their parking spot metrics, and that's easily surpassed. So I see no problems.
Great. Then I would look for a motion such as to approve the site plan for 301 Mass Ave as presented tonight with standard conditions.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and will that meet your needs? Great. All right. Ms. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer,
Aye.
and an aye from myself. Bang-a-rang.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll write up the decision tomorrow, share it with the board, make any edits as necessary, and then the board members can come in and sign.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Okay, so that gets 301 Mass Ave off our list. Next up would be, we have 30 Summer Street has been continued, so let's get back to 30 Summer Street. Wait.
No, that's continued.
Oh, no, not 30, so that is being continued. I was thinking, I meant Zero Reservoir, but you might want to wait because I see that Adam hasn't joined us yet. Because it is a special permit for the common driveway,
You need 4.
you need 4. So I'm going to bump you back then, if that's okay. Great. That seems more likely to work out. Okay. Great. Go back to my notes. I set up my notes tonight, assuming 2 windows, and I kind of have it. All right. That would.
Decisions for Northfield?
Yep, and so now we're going to move on to 1083 Northfield. We're going to begin, Greg, you can probably sit for a moment, because we're going to begin by looking back at the decisions we have pending and making sure those are solid, because I believe tonight, that your request otherwise tonight could rely on those decisions. That's why we were doing that order, correct?
Well, why don't we let Greg go over the de minimis changes,
Okay,
and then you can decide if they are de minimis or not.
fair. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Thank you. Greg Roy, Dillison Roy. And Tanner is in the audience, just for the record. We're here before you tonight. So several months ago, your board reviewed and approved a common driveway special permit and joint stormwater permit for the common driveway at 1083 Northfield Road. Subsequent to that, we were still, at that point, I should say, we were still in the Conservation Commission permitting stage, and we ended up making one tweak to the alignment of the common driveway that came out of the peer review process that the Conservation Commission did relative to the wetlands on site. So I just want to go over this. It's right, and again, I'm sorry, I'm going to blind everybody in the room, but right here, so again, Northfield Road's over here, the entrance that we just talked about with the scenic roads right here, the alignment stays the same. The only thing we did was move it up gradient about 10 or 15 feet. We put a little bit of a bend in the driveway there because there was a wetland flag that kind of encroached a little bit further than we had identified. So we moved the alignment slightly there. So again, pretty minor change. No real changes to stormwater. We just moved it about, I think it was about 10 feet north. East. That's number one. Number two, in the process of, and I'm going to switch plans, so bear with me. As we were sort of closing things out, we discovered a little bit of a discrepancy with the septic system areas that we were showing on Lot 5 and Lot 4. So change number 2 is just to add this area in the limit of disturbance. As you indicate, we did issue a letter on these to summarize this. That added about 9,000 square feet of land disturbance. And again, we'll be surrounding that with erosion control barrier. But that's for the septic system area, which has been tested already. So we needed to accommodate for that. I guess I'll say we did analyze the stormwater, reanalyze the stormwater relative to this, and there's no change. There was no additional off-site runoff. All design points at all points where we're discharging runoff, which is generally to the west and west of the site, downhill of the golf course, if you will, there's still a reduction in stormwater offsite. So that made no change to the metrics of stormwater. It's all lawn. It'll be all lawn. So it's a woods to lawn conversion. So it's not a real significant thing. But one of your conditions, to your point, in the decision was that there would be no change to the limit of work as shown on the approved plan. So we knew we needed to come back before you for this minor change. The third thing, which I think is even more minor, is that we tweaked the property line, and it's also one of the reasons we're here for an A&R plan for the same thing, which we'll review later in the meeting. The lot line between Lot 4 and 5 right here, we should have put a little bend in it, again, to accommodate a reserve leaching area on Lot 4A. Again, no change. We're actually not proposing any change to the limit of work there because it's for a reserve leaching area, so it would not be built. It's just a part of Title V requirement. We have to show a expansion area, if you will, or reserve leaching area. So it's those three things. In our view, really what we're asking you to do is to find that these are minor or de minimis. And I think all we would need is just, we did resubmit the entire plan set for you, so you could essentially, we're essentially asking you to include this plan set, the date of this plan set, instead of the one that you had initially approved based on those 3 changes. And that's it.
The date of the new plan set?
January 15th, 2026.
All right. And so, one thing that's before the board tonight then is to determine if these are de minimis changes.
If the board agrees with the applicant that these are de minimis changes, then you are free to sign the decision for the driveway special permit and the stormwater permit. If, on the other hand, you do not agree that they are de minimis, you can ask that they refile and have another peer review. So it's up to the board as to, and you have the guidance on what constitutes de minimis as part of your
Yeah.
site plan regs.
And I was going to call that up in a moment for the members of the public and for our board members at home as well. What, I will share that screen now. So what you have there is just, from my notes, this is the language we've traditionally used from our rules and regs to determine de minimis changes. So, Mr. Roy, to make sure I understand, we're looking at moving the part of the driveway upgrade about 10 feet.
Correct. Just so I can point, it'll be easier.
Yeah.
Right in this spot here, this kind of came, it went straight. So we just put a little bit of a bend in this because this wetland system here kind of came up a little bit further. So we moved that as far upgrading as we could to satisfy the Conservation Commission, which it indeed did, and they have now issued an order of conditions. But it didn't really change the length of the driveway any, it just sort of readjusted
And
the
that
alignment.
didn't change, when you ran the calculations, that didn't change the runoff.
No, not at all. Matter of fact, I don't even think it significantly changed the limit of work because, again, it was just a slide, so we had the same amount of limit of work, it's just in a slightly different location, so it didn't change anything.
All right, and
And then go ahead, sorry.
And the second one is, could you talk me through the second one more time, please, for my own sake, because I've lost the gist of it.
So the last house, lot 5, we had initially defined the limit of clearing kind of around in this area here. We had failed to include the leaching area on that portion of the lot, so we just added this here. Again, no impervious area. It's all wooded today. It'll be converted to a lawn area for the septic system. And we did analyze look at the stormwater, and that we did provide a summary in the letter. There's no change to the metrics on the stormwater in this case. There's really not much of a difference with the type of soils that we have out there between a woods ground cover and a grass ground cover, as it turns out. So if it had been extra driveway or something like that, it might have been different. So that was number 2. That impacted the limit of clearing. And then I think we had this line on the A&R kind of came straight in, and it just didn't give us enough area for this reserve leaching system for lot 4. So we just put a little bend in that lot line there. So again, no change there other than just a lot line change.
Perfect. All right, thank you. So when looking at our guidelines, and, I mean, these are just guidelines, we use them as a basis, but ultimately it's the board's decision if something is or is not a de minimis change. because it is may approve de minimis changes, and then we give including, but such changes including but not limited to. So we have flexibility either way. You have the list there in front of you if you're reading along, but I would call out specifically number 3, minor drainage for surface stormwater, and the number 8, changes, site building elevations, and topographic changes on portions of the site, for whatever regrading the driveway would have in that instance. Would you agree with am I summarizing the points that would
Yes,
likely be?
You've summarized it correctly.
Okay, wonderfully. Wonderful, rather. All right. I would turn to the board members for your thoughts on this. Do we wish to regard this as a de minimis change, or do we wish this to go back out for peer review?
The things outlined make sense to me. I think I'm okay with it going forward.
Okay.
I think it qualifies as de minimis change.
I think I agree. I think personally for me, this is the edge of what I'm comfy with as de minimis, but I think for me, it falls within that de minimis size. I'm always hesitant about anything stormwater not getting reviewed a million times over, because water is so hard to protect and only getting harder to protect. That said, I don't see an issue either. All right. What is the vote we need on this then?
You're voting to agree with the applicant that the changes are de minimis, and that then you are free and clear to sign the decisions.
Okay. I would look for something such as a so moved.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Ms. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. The board is in agreement that a change is indeed de minimis.
Thank you.
So the decisions have been written. It's now time to bring the board members in to sign?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, great. So we are going to do the A&R. Let me just, so we don't need to go over those tonight because people can come in and sign them then otherwise, correct?
You are correct, sir.
Great. Okay. So, friends on the board, we're not going to review these unless you have a need to. We can do that later in the meeting then, to review these together as a group. You can review them individually, assuming it feels good. Please come in the next couple days to place your John or Jane Hancock on the decisions. Okay, then I would have us now move to, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I will have us move to the A&R for 1083 Northfield Road. And this does not require an opening because it is an A&R.
Thank you. Again, for the record, Greg Roy with Dillison Roy, representing the applicant. So we're here, again, same project, 1083 Northfield Road, with a 5-lot A&R plan, which is the exact same that you endorsed about two-ish years ago, in terms of number of lots. As we advanced into the preparation of the common driveway, we had made some tweaks even as part of the common driveway process to the lot lines as we were laying out driveways and things and really micromanaging, getting into the nuts and bolts of the drainage. We had made some tweaks to the lot lines. So we had anticipated as part of that process, coming back before you with a revised A&R plan. This plan before you has the benefit of incorporating the change that I just mentioned to you in the de minimis change, which was the lot line, the further lot line shift between lots 4 and 5A. The frontages essentially remain the same. There's, going from top of the page to bottom of the page, there's 2 reduced frontage lots with 50, just north of, just more, greater than 50 feet of frontage. There's a conventional lot with 100, followed by another reduced frontage lot, followed by a conventional 100-foot frontage lot. They all have well in excess of your required area. There's one lot, I think it might be lots 4, there might be one other one, that has a few short areas of land less than 50 feet. We did in the zoning table include, based on very recent plans where we've highlighted this for the board on other projects, we did include as a footnote to the zoning table on the bottom, the resulting area if you exclude the portions of the lot that are less than 50 feet. So I think we don't, it's really not a significant change from what you endorsed a few years ago, just some difference. The lot lines are between, essentially in the back, have been changed, really in accommodating the common driveway. We also did add the easement for the common driveway on the record plan, so things like that, just to kind of clean things up now that all the other permits are in order.
Great.
That's it.
I do not, it isn't shown directly on here, but I just want to verify that the lot to the east of Lot 1A is a full frontage lot, correct?
I believe it is, yes.
I mean,
But that's one of the reasons why we put the full frontage lot next to it.
yeah, because there's 2 reduced frontages next to each other,
Yep.
which only works if they're flanked by.
Oh, the east. Sorry. I'm
Yeah,
going
sorry.
wrong.
East
Yes.
on this
Yes.
page is
Yeah.
up.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and you can
I
see
meant
the
to
lot line.
clarify that when I
Yeah.
said it. My apologies.
No, that's
so
fine.
going
I'm sorry.
east,
Yeah.
which is north on the page. Yeah, no, right under. Yeah, that one.
You can see it on Locus.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's got plenty of frontage there.
Yeah, it has well in excess of 100 feet.
Yeah, okay, super. All right, wonderful.
That's it?
Yep.
I will remind the board members of the 3-part test for approval not required plans. Do the lots front on a qualifying way? Northfield Road is a qualifying way. Do they have the frontage required by zoning? They have the frontage required by zoning. Can you get to the buildable portion of the lot from said frontage? Looks like you can. So if a plan meets those that 3-part test, then you are obligated to endorse.
And as a matter of working together, that one thing, less an issue here because this is a slight variant of an A&R that we've already approved. You will often hear us ask a few other questions during it, and we'll be clear with the applicant. Mr. Roy's heard it from me many times. We'll ask a few other questions that aren't going to impact our decision, but we want to make sure the applicants, because we've had applicants come in, and whatever the informal version, less legal version of creating your own hardship is, where they come in, they have a plan, and then have to come back again and go, oops. And if we can avoid oopses, so much the better. But in this case, something we've already seen as well. Mrs. Reed, Mr. Wilsmer, do you have any questions or thoughts?
I do not. It checks all the boxes we need to check, so I'm ready to move forward.
I agree.
Okay, I would,
Take a motion to endorse.
I'll say look for a motion such as to endorse the A&R for 1083 Northfield Road as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mrs. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer,
Aye.
and an aye from myself.
Thank you.
Great.
So how do you folks work it? Do you sign the Mylar here tonight, or?
We would typically sign the Mylar here tonight, but that is less useful because we're missing 2 signatures.
Okay, so all board members sign it. You don't designate a single signatory.
No, I would suspect if that is a choice we have, that the board would likely be interested in pursuing that in the future.
Okay? We'll talk about that.
Are we good with having that discussion that might mean you need to come into the office less to sign? I'm not saying you have to like it. We're not voting now. Are you two good with that being on the agenda in the future?
That's fine.
Super, and we'll see, because that might streamline things for us and applicants so much the better.
Yeah, and you can do that with decisions as well.
Yeah, super. Thank you. Great.
Okay.
I think I'm done.
All right, wow. Oh, and just in time, I see Mr. Burney logging in. Good evening, Adam. Give you a moment to get your audio together. Okay, I am looking at what we have left for the not just business section, and what remains is 0 Reservoir Road, and that is it tonight. All right. Mr. Burney, if you are if you have audio and are all set, could you just give us an acknowledgement so we can hear you?
I'm here now.
Great. Okay, so wonderful. You now have 4 board members. Now, we have both this is a very complex schedule I'm looking at. The stormwater permit has already been opened.
Yep.
We have not yet opened the special permit for the common driveway.
Correct.
Okay. I think it might make sense to open the common driveway, have that discussion a little bit separately, just because, I mean, it's all going to flow together between the two, but I think,
At least the hearing will be open for the special permit to the common drive.
Yeah,
I'd
and-
start there, and I was going to divvy it up anyway,
great.
so
Okay.
I think we can
and
make it work.
We can open it. You have 4 people here, so that's not going to create any Mullen Rule issues later on. Wonderful. In that case, could we please open the public hearing, PBSP 2510, for the special permit for a common driveway at 0 Reservoir Road?
The Lunenburg Planning Board will hold a public hearing on February 9th, 2026 at 6:05 PM, Town Hall, 17 Main Street, Lunenburg, Mass., to hear and review an application for a special permit pursuant to 250-6.4C7 Common Driveways of the Code of the Town of Lunenburg by Justin Leclerc for construction of a common driveway to serve a residential development consisting of 4 single-family homes. Subject property information, the location is 0 Reservoir Road, Assessors Map 137, parcel number 38. Owner is Mary C. Coburn, 998 Reservoir Road, Lunenburg, Mass. 01462. You can view materials online at lunenburgma.portal.opengov.com/search. Record ID is PBSP-25-10. Via an email request to the planning office, planning@lunenburgma.gov, or in person at the planning office at 960 Mass Avenue in Lunenburg.
Great. Take it away.
All right, so for the record, Justin Leclerc, McCarty Engineering, here tonight on behalf of SDP Realty Trust, the applicant slash future owner of the development here. So I'm going to backtrack and go to the stormwater permit section to give the board an update. So we did receive the comment letter from Graves Engineering last week. We did review it. I did have a discussion with Mr. Walsh regarding the letter. The gist is the majority of the comments are easily addressed. We have addressed them. I'll get that submitted back to Graves for review. The two tonight I want to point out was one, and I'm going to start at the intersection of the common drive. So Graves had a comment pertaining to the P-stone diaphragms located at the intersection of the common driveway as well as Goodrich Street. Their recommendation was because everything is flowing downhill to that point and then off to the rain garden as discussed, that they had asked a clay barrier and perforated pipe be installed at the bottom to direct the water from the northern P-stone diaphragm, which is shown on page left here, to get to the rain garden. So we did add that to the plan. We did note it. So essentially, the water will run down the P-stone diaphragm. It will get blocked by the clay dam and then into the perforated pipe underneath the common drive to the rain garden. That just helps prevent any potential overtopping onto Goodrich Street and having stormwater run onto the road. The second comment was pertaining to, excuse me, a potential off-site issue, not a major one, but one that Graves had brought up. So the adjacent land here is about 38-acre area that, and I'm going to take this just to, just so I can point a little bit easier. So there's all this land over here that's part of the previous Keaton parcel. There's a point where it comes down to a low depression spot here on the plan where it acts almost as like an existing infiltration basin. There is a berm between this basin, I'll call it, and our proposed lot 3 here, where if the basin does fill up, it could potentially overtop and come into our basin. Graves Engineering had the recommendation to provide a hydrologic connection from the proposed depression here to allow the water, in the event that there's any issues, to bypass the development and discharge into the existing swale back to the wetland, as it currently does in today's condition. So we did propose a outlet control structure with a wick drain and then a HDPE pipe with flared end that will miss the rain garden, so we're not impacting our stormwater basin and rain garden there. And that flow will go to the wetland as it does today. Again, Graves Engineering, their comment wasn't pertaining so much to your regular flows, but more so to your winter conditions. If you have kind of like we have now, we have the thaw, the freeze, the thaw, the freeze, and a lot of snow. Come springtime, you could potentially have a little excess water coming down to that area. So we did provide, as I showed, the change on the plan there, as well as the one at the intersection of the common driveway in the Goodrich Street. Other than that, our comments are easily addressed and will be sent back to Graves.
Okay.
So that's the stormwater.
Yeah. Before we discuss the stormwater,
Yep.
and if board members would like me to handle this differently, please forgive me. I am lacking a better term, I'm having a bad post-cancer tongue night, so speaking's a little bit trickier at the moment. I'm going to have to be a little more thoughtful. Before we look at that, and if the board members would like me to focus on stormwater first, I'll bring us back there. I'll just say the word, friends. But in the common driveway application, there may be a technical issue that could make this stormwater plan null and void. In terms of to my reading, and to my understanding, there may be an issue with combining these into a common driveway. If that ends up being the case, this stormwater, I hate to take time discussing a stormwater.
No, and not to cut you off.
Please, go ahead.
If I have a understand of where you're going, I was going to discuss that during the common driveway portion
Yes.
of the presentation. So, the area change that you see on the plan right now are 2 red lines. And again, I'll take the mic and walk back over there. So there's 2 red lines shown right now. One is here, the second one is here. So after discussion with the building department and the planning department, there's a nuance in the definition of driveway and frontage where your driveway has to be on frontage, which is on a defined street. Here, where we have Reservoir Road and Goodrich Street almost in parallel, the demarcation where the line changes from Reservoir to Goodrich Street, Lot 3 is technically on Reservoir Road. So as part of the revisions for the common driveway application and the updated A&R plan, we're going to revise the lines accordingly to provide the required frontage and legal frontage for Lot 3 onto Goodrich Street. Thus, would allow the common driveway to serve Lot 3.
I think I understand. I want to call up this site plan again for myself to look at it in a little more detail.
So we had the discussion with the building commissioner, and if you're going to have lots served by a common driveway, they all need to front on the same roadway. That was the issue.
Correct.
And you revised the plan how to accommodate that?
So the plan in front of you tonight, this one hasn't been submitted tonight. I wanted to come in front of the board and
Okay.
get the feedback.
Oh, so we don't have this plan?
With the red lines, you do not.
No, we just had that discussion, I think, Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, I believe so when I came into the office.
Oh, great, this makes, I'm going through
Nope, nope,
OpenGov, I'm like, I don't see this, what am I, super, great, now I understand.
So the 2 red lines on the plan in front of the board tonight is what the modified property lines would be. That would give 100 feet of frontage on Goodrich Street for Lot 3, which is what's required in this zone. And that would be the legal frontage to serve for the common driveway.
Okay, we'll have to take a closer look at that.
Yeah, we'll have
It-
to,
And again, with knowing the status of stormwater, Graves Engineering has to review it, fully anticipate the continuance for tonight to the next meeting. In that time, the board would get the updated plans accordingly, and then can be reviewed.
Okay.
okay, and just to lay this out I want to lay this out a little more clearly for the discussion, there's 3 of us who have a more intrinsic discussion, the others who haven't been as involved or not sitting in the room looking at the plan may not have. Our common driveway bylaw requires that if you are putting properties with a common driveway that spits out onto a road, the road that common driveway spits out onto must be the road that those properties have frontage upon. So if you are in a situation where, if you live at the corner, not at the corners, but so if you live on Smith Street, if your property has frontage on Smith Street, but you're going to have a common driveway that spits out onto Jones Street, that's a no-go. This one's more tricky because just due to the angles of how the roads come together and what you might look at and be like, oh, that looks kind of straight. And even though it is, it's a different roadway. Our common driveway, the bylaw we put together for the common driveway does not give the planning board flexibility in saying, oh, good enough. It's close enough, we can finagle that. We have strict requirements, and so the discussion is about giving frontage for one of the properties that doesn't have frontage on the correct road to then have frontage on the correct road. Was that just,
In summary, that almost nails it.
great? Are there any details I'm missing there that people should be aware
No,
of?
the bottom line is if you're going to create lots that are served by a shared driveway, all of the lots served by said shared driveway must front on the same road.
If you want to be fancy and say it's simple,
Pay me for it.
amen. And about a million other things that I don't have to do, which is great. Okay.
So if I may continue with the common driveway, there was some items that were brought up at the last meeting that we were discussing that is changed on this plan that was submitted with the common drive application that I'd like to speak to real quick.
Please.
So just to refresh the board's memory, this was the original plan that the board had seen with the common driveway still serving the same 3 lots, but the intersection of the common driveway and Goodrich Street was more in line with the island there in the middle that divides Goodrich Street and Reservoir Road, and then you have the cutoff road between the two of them. At the last meeting, it was brought up that to take a look at the location of this, if we could do something better that benefits DPW, fire, police, something a little bit different than this just because of where it's located and the condition of this intersection. So as part of this revised plan that the board sees in front of them tonight, we did shift the common driveway up approximately 15 feet or so. So that way the intersection of the common driveway on Goodrich Street is in line with the cutoff that comes from between Reservoir Road and Goodrich Street. So for those unfamiliar, if you're driving up Reservoir Road, the road forks. Left brings you to Goodrich, right brings you down the reservoir further. On the back side of that is a little cutoff in between. So we have the common driveway in line with that, and that was at the recommendation of Chief Sullivan of the fire department. The police chief did not have any comments other than that, and Mr. Bernard, DPW director, had a comment to cut back and clear if you're in the driveway looking out to Goodrich Street to the left, because it is shrubs, some light trees, things of that nature, and also to cut back that slope a little bit to provide a better sight distance looking up the hill on Goodrich Street. So that was revised and done as part of the common driveway application. So with that, if there's any additional questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Great. This is where I will turn to the board and ask for, and say, I'd love to hear your questions or your thoughts or your concerns.
I don't like it. I continue to find that it's too close to the intersection of Reservoir. You've cleared the island a little bit. I still think that, well, first of all, I'd like to see the turning movements for the fire truck on the plan. We discussed, or I discussed, my thought that it could be moved further up Goodrich Street. You indicated that you'd done that, or you had tried that and it didn't work. I'd like at least some information. Graphically would be wonderful, or at least a more thorough understanding of why we can't bring, the grades are incredibly similar at the west side of the lot as they are where you're putting the driveway. I understand that you can sort of chase that grade down to the wetland a little bit to bring the driveway in, but I think that if you were creative, you could probably still get the same 3 lots on the driveway. You might lose a lot, I don't know, but I think at that intersection, it's a little challenging. And I would love to see graphically that it's 100 feet from the intersection center line as the bylaw requires.
Don't mind me, Adam. I'm just taking notes.
No, that's fine. I didn't expect you to respond. I don't have, we have digital plans, so it's not easily scalable for us, but it's questionable to me whether you make that 100-foot intersection center line distance.
Okay.
Great. Other thoughts or questions from the board? Hearing none, I'm also going to go out for public comment. We do have members of the public in the participant list. We have at least one member of the public in the room. Is there any public comment on this? Seeing none. Okay. So you've heard a few concerns about the common driveway.
Yep.
And I had one initially that you were already aware of as well about the proper frontage. It sounds like you have a plan in place to be addressing that.
Correct.
Mr. Burney has brought up some other concerns similar to his previous. You've made some changes as well as some clear kind of, could you walk us through it in the future?
Yep.
Okay. And is there, oh, please. Mr.
My one
Wallace.
suggestion is when you submit the revised driveway plan,
Yep.
when you address Adam's concerns, submit that along with it.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just have one resubmission of the.
Yeah, and that was the point for tonight, to get any, on top of the feedback we already had, any additional and resubmit all at
And
once.
have you put together a response to comment letter for Graves yet?
Yes.
Have they got it?
They have not gotten it yet.
Okay, so do all that at once.
Yeah, all at once. That was the intent.
Okay, great.
Or you're clear to continue them.
Yep. Okay. If there is nothing else from the board, we've heard no public comment, I would look for a motion such as to continue the public hearings for the stormwater permit and the special permit for common driveway for 0 Reservoir Road to our next meeting work for you?
Yeah.
To our meeting on the 23rd of February 2026 at 6:05 PM.
Perfect.
So
Thank you.
moved.
Second.
Okay.
I think I heard a second in there from Mr. Wilsmer. Was that a second?
That was a second.
Okay, great. All right. Mr. Burney,
Aye.
Ms. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer,
Aye.
and an aye from myself. All right, very good. I believe, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
I believe that wraps up the public hearings for tonight and all of that, the business others are bringing before us. I did want to, with all of us here, we got an email about it last week, but I do want to remind you that the Select Board has asked us to attend and join in their meeting tomorrow when the Stormwater Task Force is presenting. They've asked planning to join in there. So we all got the email to the planning list about that last week, but I wanted to put that on our radar, that we've been asked to join the Select Board tomorrow night.
Mr.
What
Chair?
their please
Yes.
go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to point out, we were going to continue 30 Summer Street, but I don't think we voted to continue 30 Summer Street to our next meeting.
Oh, we
It is
are
on
going to
the
need to do that. Thank you. You are correct.
Summer Street.
Yep, Summer Street. Drop me email at some point tonight, early tomorrow, just if you're going to be able to make it or not for tomorrow night's select board meeting. So I'm aware as well, and I know who we're expecting and who won't be there.
We know what they want from us?
This is well, Tim could explain exactly what Stormwater is presenting, but they want us there as well.
I mean, I understand what Stormwater is presenting. I guess it's a funding mechanism for operational items that are under the control of the select board as road commissioners, the town manager as the overseer of town staff, and the DPW as the facilitators of the work. The planning board as an entity, granted, has sort of somewhat wide-reaching powers, but they're fairly limited. And I guess I'm unsure what our expected role is.
Do you know exactly what they're
I
looking?
do not.
Okay.
I'm planning to attend and just hearing what they have to say.
I believe this falls under the realm of we have a lot more nebulous related experience to some of this than the select board does, even though maybe not on the funding component, but we are more aware of stormwater in general in town. I'm not sure that's 100% true, but I think, you know what? If only there was a member of the select board in the room who could tell us, for the love of God, who could have been waving us down and saying, I can tell you, and that would have been lovely.
He was enjoying that too much.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I do not have a specific answer for you, other than our commitment to try to keep everybody on the same page in communication and just be as effective and as efficient as possible. But other than that, I don't have a specific answer for you.
Okay. Fair.
I have a quick question. I didn't see an agenda posted for tomorrow. Are we allowed to officially be there beyond quorum?
If we are going to listen, then we do not need to post it as a meeting.
If we're not deliberating.
Discussing
Okay.
or making a decision. If we were discussing and making decisions, then we would need to post this.
Were you looking for us to have input, or you
I don't know.
don't know? Don't know is the answer.
Well, so there was a mix-up for stormwater, and I never provided an agenda in time. So we're trying to determine who is and isn't showing up for it, so that we don't have to deal with quorum issues for the task force itself.
So this, okay. If I'd realized
But
this
it's
was,
There's no guarantee there's going to be any kind of discussion, but since we may have to answer questions, we're trying to keep the stormwater task force itself. We're only sending, as I understand it, 2 people, so that we don't run into quorum problems.
Choose the 2 people.
yeah, that's fair. So it might be worth, in case discussion happens, it might be worth us only having 2 of the board members there, because we don't have an agenda posted. I'm planning to, so that could be me and Tim.
Unfortunately, I am working emergency snow operations for the state, so I am likely going to be occupied tomorrow evening.
Is there another board member who can and would like to join tomorrow, or am I soloing? If I'm soloing, that's not the end of the world.
So I guess I have a question. It's posted as a joint meeting of the Select Board, Planning Board, and Stormwater Task Force. If the Planning Board and Stormwater Task Force haven't also posted a meeting, then I don't know that you can hold this. The select board agenda has it posted as a joint meeting. So that to me says they have an intention for us to deliberate in some way. And I think it's worth checking if they should even go forward with this.
Our intention, my understanding of our intention when this happened, was this was presenting the select board our
Your plan. Oh, I understand that. And I
Yeah.
think that would have been fine if they had said presentation from the Stormwater Task Force with
Okay.
other boards in attendance. But the way they've posted it is as a joint meeting. And I would recommend that we don't send a quorum because we haven't posted an agenda. They haven't posted as a joint meeting. And I would rather just avoid that whole mess.
Yeah.
Can I, Chairman?
What's that?
I have an email from Melissa, the executive assistant, that said it is not a public hearing and that there was nothing that had to be published. It just had to go on the agenda.
Correct. It didn't have to be published because there's no legal advertising requirement, but it's posted on the meeting on the agenda as a joint meeting.
So even if it's not a public hearing, for open meeting law, you can't have three of us discussing directly or indirectly. Indirect is the weird thing where if I talk to Adam about it,
Right.
and then Adam talks to Tim about it, that is still three people.
Gotcha.
Even though, so that is still, if it is business of the board, the kinds of things we're supposed to deal with, then open meeting law still applies even if it's not a public hearing.
Yeah, I had said that and that's what I got back.
Okay, it sounds like there may have been somewhere there's a misunderstanding. Don't know exactly where yet. I am fine sending, I think it is necessary to send less than a quorum of people, to be more clear, because I think we can't, otherwise if we start discussing, it becomes an open meeting law violation, to my understanding, as well.
I'll volunteer to not go.
Yeah.
It'll be you and me.
Yep. Amanda, I don't know if you're available for that, and if you're not, if I'm the only board member, that is still not quorum, and also we can work with it.
I won't know till tomorrow afternoon, but if I'm able to come, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. So not an issue. I wanted to put that on our radar. I have some of the similar concerns about the way it was posted, and yeah. All right, we will get through, no worries. Looking at our agenda, decisions in business, because we have some things there that aren't decisions. For 925 Mass Ave, the town is now that's the old abandoned gas station that was, the town got grant money, got cleaned up. At one point, some consultants with grant money came before us as a planning board and said, here's a couple things you could do with that property. But it has the issue of if you're rebuilding, it has to be two-story. And if you're doing that, the parking on the site is going to be virtually impossible to put parking on that site for any two-story use. Sufficient parking. Village Center District lets us do the parking, slush parking, but that doesn't mean there's more space to be had. To that end, we've been asked to send a representative of the board, as well as the planner, to a group to make an RFP for that site. And they want to know who would like to do it. I am willing to step into that role, but I don't know if there's someone who's going, oh boy, I really want to help write the RFP for 925 Mass Ave. And if there's someone who wants it, I'm real happy to give it to you.
What's the intended schedule or meeting times?
Oh, Do you know that off?
No.
Matthew?
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
They specifically wanted somebody that can make meetings during the day.
Yeah, daytime meetings.
Daytime meeting. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. I missed that. Okay. I think daytime meetings means it's most likely me for members of the board, because I think everyone else, thank you, Tony, by the way, I should say that more clearly, have commitments
How-
that get in the way.
How often?
Do you know that one, Tony?
No, but I was going to make a comment based on emails that I had shared with the town manager. That site's still dirty. And if you read the documents that were associated with the request to join the working group, you see that while the remedial action required for removal of the source of contamination has been successfully completed, the site still contains levels of contamination above the public safety level. And I had suggested to the town manager that she go back to both the state EPA, or DER, and US EPA, which funded the removal action, and see where they are with regards to the report that went to them in February of 2025. So I have not heard back from the town manager based on my recommendations, and I've not seen anything with regards to actually having a meeting. The other thing that was really interesting is there was an appraisal done by an appraiser, and the appraiser basically said, my assumption is the site's clean, which is not true. So I think that, while they still might be gathering up people who would be interested in being on the working group, I think that we're some time away from actually putting out an RFP for selling the lot, That's my 2 cents worth, but I can tell you that anybody in their right mind who would take on that project with the site still being a source of contamination enters a great amount of risk in doing a great amount of financial risk, and ranging from letting it clean itself up naturally to the expense of maybe $50,000 for continued monitoring and testing, to about $250,000 to $500,000 for remediation using pretty standard techniques for the type of contamination that's there. Basically, you accelerate the degradation by introducing both oxygen as well as some bacteria into the soils.
Okay.
So, that's
Tony,
where that's at.
I do want to be cautious in that we only have, just assigning a group member on our agenda, and I don't want to bring
I know. But that should give you some perspective as to when and how much time you have.
No, that's fair. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But thank you for the background.
Okay.
Yeah, and I checked my email quickly. They did not share an expected meeting cadence or duration, and I did not think to ask. You have my apologies on that.
Nope, that's no worries. It's something I could possibly be interested in and might be able to squeeze in depending on timing, but I don't want to commit to it without having a better understanding.
Tim or Amanda, are you interested in the group?
I would have difficulty working that into my schedule.
Completely fair.
If there's somebody who is wanting to take it, I'd say absolutely. It is a possibility that I could cover it. I only teach on Mondays and Wednesdays, so if the meetings are anytime other than Mondays and Wednesdays, I should be able to cover that schedule.
So how about you be the
The
point person and she be the alternate,
Yeah, I don't know if they want an alternate for the committee, but I think what we can do.
in case you can't go?
Yeah. I'm fine with that. What I was going to say is, what I might recommend in this case, based on what I'm hearing, is if we put me, until we have a clue of what the commitment more thoroughly looks like, I'm happy to either take the role or be our initial person in the role, and then as this shakes out in the next couple weeks, if there's a more clear image of what it's going to be, we could revisit if I'm the correct person.
That works.
That sounds great.
Okay. And I don't know if they're looking for alternates, but if they're taking alternates, Amanda, do you want to be the alternate?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay. I would look, do we need a vote on that or no? Because it's not an official committee? Do we need a vote? Do you want to vote?
Go, just to be safe.
I'm fine with that. I would look for a motion such as to appoint Matthew Brenner as as the planning board's member to the RFP group for 925 Mass Ave, with Amanda Reed as the alternate if they are looking for an alternate.
So moved.
Second.
Amanda, was that a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, great. Moved and seconded. Mr. Burney.
Aye.
Mrs. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Perfect. We have okay. So we have 3 decisions we need to look at and would normally look at together, sign together. Are we comfortable reviewing the decisions? Well, we've already kind of said we would for 1083 Northfield. Are we comfortable reviewing the decision for 485 Leominster Shirley Road and coming in on our own and then coming in the next few days to get that signed? Or do we want to look at it as a group now?
I'm fine just signing it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where I am. If you want us to look at it together, speak up. Otherwise, look it over, come in the next few days and sign it so we can get that back to the applicant. Once you look at it, et cetera, if you have a concern, raise it to Mr. Wallace. Great. Board discussions. Master
Are we not
plan-
going to?
What's
Are
that?
we skipping over? Are we skipping over the 61A or the 61 intent to sell?
Oh, is that, yes, we are.
Okay.
The notice of intent, we are going to be skipping that over because we don't I don't remember all the technicals we just discussed with the town manager.
It's not a qualified offer.
Yeah, there are things that have to happen at the town manager's office before that could even be an option.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I get for coming in late.
No, we haven't talked about, I don't think we've actually discussed that out loud so far at this meeting. We did other 1083 stuff, but we're not looking at that yet, and we hadn't discussed it. We're waiting for more info from Town Hall that may be on our next agenda. It may not be. How exciting.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just a reminder, I don't think we continued 30 Summer Street yet.
For 30 cents.
This is why they pay you the big bucks. I would look for a motion such as to continue the public hearing for 30, whatever the
30
public.
Summer Street.
Yeah, but I want to see what, the public hearing for 30 Summer Street for the stormwater permit, site plan approval, and had we opened the special permit? So that doesn't need a vote to continue then? Okay. For the site plan approval and the stormwater permit to our meeting on February 23rd, 2026 at 6:05 PM.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Burney.
Aye.
Mrs. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Thank you, Amanda.
One last thing on that, do we have a continued request from them to extend the opening of the public hearing for the special permit, as we are well outside the 65 days, and I want to make sure that we don't get a technical failure based on not having opened it because they keep continuing the other hearings?
Hold on, I'm reading it right now.
We have eyes double-checking computers.
Site plan, stormwater, flood plain
Floodplain.
special permit. Request an extension to the next available meeting.
So we do have something from Dillis and Roy
Okay.
requesting a time extension.
That works for me, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Moving us on to master plan draft. I sent us all a copy of the draft of the master plan. And they would love our feedback on it. They being over under at all. I hope we've had time to look it over. We can take some more time. Hey, you're not going to read the whole dang thing now, I'll say that. But looking for feedback that I can bring back to them as they narrow in. A lot of the stuff they might be looking for especially would be making sure that those tables at the end are specifying the correct groups and everything else, but as a general look over as well, do we have feedback?
I'm sure they would appreciate receiving feedback in written form.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That would be ideal, but I think the board also discusses well, so I want to give us that opportunity.
Certainly.
And if we can put written feedback together, that would be great.
I would like to put some written feedback together. Overall, I like the layout. I'm hoping that if we do print it, it's not in the goofy landscape. I don't like that as a printed form. It works well on the screen. I wish that in the goals and objectives section, the actions were more prominent than looking like a little text bubble shoved off to the side to the right of some dollar signs, because those are the actual meat of that whole section. And they feel like, I don't know, they feel like they're introducing the new marshmallow on Lucky Charms or something, as opposed to actually being the action that is intended for moving that forward. And I haven't really had a chance to go through the table yet. It feels like, and this is probably just me being a grizzled planner, that I'm used to seeing population charts and tables, and none of that's in there. So it doesn't feel as master planny as the way we used to do it back in my young days. But
Adam.
overall, I think it's an easy way to read it. Yes, Steve.
That was my initial assessment too. Where's the tabular information? So apparently there is a second volume that contains the tabular information that
Okay.
we can send out to the full board.
So this is the sexy version, and they kept the old man version in like the appendix.
We can send that out. The tabular data you're referring to is in the initial conditions report.
Okay.
That they already published. It is on plan, and for those at home as well, is on planlunenburg.org. But there is the initial conditions section in this plan. I can also follow up and make sure that, how will
I can find that. You don't need to send it to me. And again, I just think it's a valuable thing to have. This is the part that everyone's going to look at because this is the what do we do, and it's colorful and all of that. So that's fine. I just it struck me as odd that it was in two different volumes.
I have in my notes to follow up with how are they being, are they remaining separate? Basically, what's their intent there? Is the intent that they will remain separate? And I guess I would ask us, do we want them together in one volume? Because that's a very fair request on our end.
I would like to see them together.
Well, I guess I look at it as there should be a file or a document that has them together. I have no problem with what was sent to us being also a standalone document, and maybe that's the easy front-facing version of the master plan that goes on the website, that gets handed out to kids at school, all those kinds of fun things, because it is approachable. And I think some of the biggest problem with some master plans is it's all tabular data and, very jargony descriptions, and people look at it and their eyes glaze over and they're like, I'm just going to go to bed. But I think it's a critical component of the plan as a whole and should reside as a singular document somewhere.
Great. And Adam, just for my own notes and for discussions with Rami, you mentioned again what did you wish were more prominent? Your first recommendation.
Yes, I'm going to open the plan so I can look at it and give you a good answer, or I can even share it. And I hate PDFs these days. Let's see.
Here.
Oh, okay. The portions, the possible actions. I don't know. Maybe they are. I just feel like they should pop more, because those are the things that are supposed to be done or were being recommended to be done. Like in the 05.02. Possible actions: review, formally adopt a clear policy governing community access to school grounds and facilities. So it has the goal, the cost, the time frame, the description, and then the possible actions. And maybe it's the color scheme. I don't know. It all just kind of blends.
Right.
Yeah. It should be easier that comes out as what we're looking for.
All right, so I just called up on my screen
Yes,
a page
so-
as an example. And
Yep.
what Mr. Bernie is saying that since the possible actions here in kind of this lower right semi-quadrant of that page, quasi-quadrant, getting that to pop, or at least stick out more in a clear way that this is what we should be doing. And I think that's very valuable feedback.
Bold it, larger font.
Yep. Tristan Seabright, their graphic designer, is fortunately super top notch. And we say Rami's name a lot, but that whole crew has a lot of skills. And I think Tristan's been with us a while on this and has been doing a lot of this graphic work, both for the public-facing communication and in this project. But that, I think, is a great reference, and I will feel free to include that in your written feedback as well. But
Yeah, I will. And this feels like a dumb comment, but where did we go? Why did we go with orange and green?
What was that?
Why did we go with orange and green as the color scheme?
Because that is what they picked, I believe. I don't think that, I think that was what they did, and we never requested any changes.
Fair enough.
And they've been doing it for the entire time.
Do we have a town seal that is color? Maybe they could use the colors.
They pulled the green from
Oh!
the town seal, I think.
What's that?
I said, I'm guessing they pulled the green from the town seal.
They may have
'Cause
pulled
it's
the
a-
orange from the town seal too,
Yeah.
from the rooftops or
I'm-
something. Like, I
I'm
think
looking at the, yeah.
because you say that, you say the town seal, and that reminds me, oh yeah, it was a conscious choice on their part to try to pull in.
Yeah,
Now-
the orange from the wheat thresher and the roof and the green from the field.
Yep. Now it's awkward because for many people think of Lunenburg as blue, but that's because our high school colors are blue and white, and often whatever your high school colors are become default colors for a community in many people's mind. Okay, great. Other thoughts or feedback from the board? Hearing none. Tony, by all means, Mr. Scalambrini. Again, just for the sake of, it's not a public hearing, but since you're speaking at the meeting, do please share your name and your address. I realize we should be thorough.
I'm Tony Scalambrini, the elder. There's two of us. My son's the chair of the school committee, and I live at 5 Valley Road. And I'm actually speaking as the vice chair of the Master Plan Steering Committee. Kim had hoped to participate, Kim Duffy, the chair of the Master Plan Steering Committee, had hoped to participate in our discussions tonight. And the only thing that together, she and I are both very interested in seeing this plan get approved, because the Master Plan Steering Committee spent a significant amount of time since April working on the document that's been submitted for approval by the planning board. And, you know, when the Master Plan Steering Committee last met as a group prior to the end of the calendar year 2025, we had talked about, you know, how the plan approval process was going to work, and then we kind of targeted us going out of business at the end of February, approving meeting minutes, and then going out of business at the end of February. And I think that because we have so much invested in the plan at this point in time and the work of the committee, that we'd like to say we're going to stay in business until the planning board has actually made the approvals. And then we can transition to, we can sunset at that point in time. But something might come up, you know, and we want to make sure that there's a committee that's still intact that can support the planning board in dealing with any particular comments. You know, we've gathered input from a lot of different people. We gathered a lot of input from the various committees, you know, as the plan was, you know, coming to a close, coming to a draft that we could share with them. And, you know, thank goodness Kim, you know, she spent an incredible amount of personal time going through disseminating that draft plan and the recommendations and the objectives, and then getting comments and then taking those comments back to the consultant. So there's a lot of, you know, a lot of skin in the game, so to speak, for the Master Plan Steering Committee. And we may still meet on the 25th of February, but I think that the consensus, leastwise between Kim and I as the chair and vice chair, that we wouldn't go out of business until the plan's completely approved. And then we could stand by and be available if any additional work is required. So that's our comments.
Okay, well, Tony, thank you for that feedback as well, because it is this board that eventually makes the, I mean, it's a, well, I don't remember what the term is, the correct term, but it's a committee that's owned by planning. And so it is our job to eventually disband that committee. I don't know that we will be, I don't know there's much steering left because I think we are in that home stretch. Also, good news wise, I think we will shortly be, what you're not hearing here is a whole hullabaloo about deep-seated concerns. We're looking at much more the smaller details that have been brought up. We'll see as people do another deep read what comes out in the wash over the next week or so. But I'm anticipating that we are close to approval and being all set. And even if the committee, because there's an argument to be made, I think fairly, that the steering portion is done, for the love of God, I'm going to ask you, that doesn't mean you have to abandon the process. Those who have spent time in it, I hope will continue to be involved now and in the future. And also, I hope, frankly, once the time comes for an implementation committee, as we figure out what that looks like, that people will continue to be involved. It will be a smaller group. I hope people will continue to be involved there as well.
That would be the proper transition from the master plan steering committee to the implementation committee.
Our steering committee is huge. It is about a 15-member committee. And that was an intentional action by this board to try to make sure the constituency of the town, that every sub-constituency was properly represented. So you have the Council on Aging, you have schools, you have, but it led to a very large committee, and that's why any transition that happens can't be, and no one wants it to be a one-to-one transition, because you can't have a 15-person.
No, and you're going to have a lot of those members who want to step away from the process and
Yes.
get on with their lives. So.
And we also,
You had a lot who stepped away from the process during the process.
Yes,
we
they
had
did.
to adjust the quorum for that committee to a lower than the default 1/2 number. We had adjusted it lower so they could do business.
I understand.
Yep. But great.
You know, Matt, I think that, you know, because there's two things. One is because the committee, you know, it waffled and it kind of drifted along for such a long period of time. We're so close to this process being finished. And I completely agree. It's the planning board's decision to approve the plan. And it's kind of like, you know, let the group stay connected until it's completely done. And then we go out of business. There's one other issue here. Contractually, the master plan steering committee is mentioned in the statement of work which has guided this development of this plan. And I think that, you know, when you get right down to completing every single piece of the contractual statement of work, which includes the town approving the plan, or the planning board approving the plan, I think you ought to keep all the pieces intact when that happens. You know, so, you know, we're not trying to supersede or say, hey, we should have some say in the plan approval. What we want to say is that we're here to help finish the process.
Excellent. And Tony, I think that in practice that I think we are that yeah, it is a hard speaking night, my golly. In practice, I think we are going to find that this is about to be a very close to or an actual non-issue. As the board looks at it, and now if a ton of feedback comes in, that's one thing. But if the pattern I'm seeing here holds, we will likely be ready to approve, we may be ready to approve or hold a vote for approval in short order. So we'll see how that plays out. I hear your concern, and I think that's valid too. I'm going to turn to the planning board. I'm going to say, friends, what I'd like you to do, give it another read, get your written statement to me. I would really need a written statement from everyone. Your statement can be, I think it is fine as is.
Want to give them a deadline?
Yes.
I would like it by the end of this coming weekend. Is that doable for, because it is a big doc. I hate to not give
No.
people another weekend to read. Is that doable?
Nope.
No? Okay.
I need at least 2 weeks to sit down, go through it, and then
Folks, till the
put
end
my
of
thoughts in writing. I think that the board should take this up again in early March. Are we planning to bring this to town meeting for either presentation or secondary approval, or are we just going to approve it as the planning board and hit the ground running?
My thought, and this is just one person on the board, really. I would like us to bring it to town meeting to show them the conclusion of the work.
As a committee report?
Yes, as a committee report. I would also like us to hit the ground running. I don't see a reason, once we've approved it, I don't see a reason to sit on it for an extra month and go, hey, town meeting, now that you've seen it, we're going to work, when there's maybe a chance to get working quicker.
So when I ask the planning board members to give me their prioritized list of projects they want me to work on as their planning director, I'm expecting much of that is going to be the master plan recommendations.
I think we will see that. I expect, I could be wrong, we'll also see some backlog of things we identified and thought we were going to be done with by now. But we'll see. Okay. Could I have everyone's written feedback for our next meeting on the 22nd? That is 2 weeks, and that lets us put it together and have a discussion then as appropriate on that written feedback, kind of cohesively. Does that work for everybody?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay. Bang
Yes,
bang.
just the point that the next meeting's on the 23rd, though.
My name's Amanda. I like to point out things and make sure Matt's correct and he's not violating all sorts of rules by being wrong all the time. Thank you.
So sorry.
Amanda, thank you. Okay. All right, great. So that puts us there. And the other thing I want to ask in that feedback, can they? No, can I collect their feedback on this, or do you have to collect their written feedback on this?
It needs to go to Steve.
Yeah, I realize that I've developed habits that aren't necessarily correct anymore. Yeah, so send all of your feedback to Stephen, please.
I will compile it and share it with your consultant.
I'll make that introduction because you haven't talked, unless you have otherwise, but,
I have.
okay. Great. All right. Okay, I'm going to move, abutting community notices. Is there anything big going on nearby that we want to know
Oh,
about?
let's see. Variance for a single-family home, side yard setback, accessory dwelling unit, spray booth and body shop coming to Leominster. That's it. Weighty matters indeed.
Indeed. Do we know where they are on the Costco in Leominster?
I don't.
Okay. I was hoping maybe, because
Next summer, it's supposed to be open.
okay. I was under the impression that they had approved the plans and everything, but I realized I don't know if I've seen anything official about that, but good. I'm asking simply because I'm sick of driving to Nashua.
You can drive to Sharon. It's just a different drive.
It is, in fact, with a worse parking situation.
You go to Waltham.
The one in Sharon has the best parking.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking Waltham. You're right. I didn't know there was one in Sharon. I'm going to have to look at that. Well, hopefully not for too long anyway. My boys are getting big and they eat a lot. So, okay. Committee reports. Master Plan Steering Committee.
I think we all know what that's looking like at this point.
Was that Tim?
I mean, I think we all know what it looks like at this point. We've got the document to review.
Yep. And as Tony alluded to, they have their final meeting planned for the 25th. Well, what was to be their final meeting planned. But to certainly go over the last minutes and do that kind of, it's a housekeeping meeting. All right. Open Space Committee.
We have a meeting this Wednesday.
Okay, Municipal Building Design Committee. We continue to meet. It continues to be, at times, a difficult discussion. We have a subcommittee meeting that is myself, Mr. Scalambrini, and Ms. Laura, I can't remember Laura's last name. I feel awful. We're coming up with questions to ask the town employees about the work they do in their departments so that we can better figure out what the space needs actually will be. We're having that meeting tomorrow, and then we'll see where it goes from there. Capital Planning Committee is meeting on Wednesday to go over the new numbers, and we'll have those and go over them then. Economic Development Committee, next meeting is tomorrow. Nothing new to report. Stormwater Task Force.
So we met with FinCom last week to give an initial presentation. We meet with Select Board tomorrow, I think Bill will be presenting tomorrow for the Select Board. And then we have our next meeting on the 19th, and then March 5th, we're supposed to have a kind of public information session.
Oh, okay, that's on March 5th, you said?
Yes.
Okay, great. Looking forward to it. Montechusett Regional Planning Commission.
We met last week. Not really much to report. I did send Mr. Chair an email, a forwarded email about some new grant opportunities for historic buildings. I thought that Lunenburg might be interested in that, as we've had some back and forth about the historic buildings in town. But other than that, not much to report.
Board members, for your edification, I'm putting in for 2 district local technical assistance grants from the Regional Planning Commission. One to update our expired housing production plan, and another project would be mapping the development constraints for our commercial and industrial districts, essentially updating that development constraints map that was last done during the 2001 build-out. So we'll be able to compare both maps and see how far we've come in terms of using our commercial and industrially zoned land and how much we have left. So the select board have to discuss this at a meeting, which they'll do tomorrow night. But those are the 2 projects I've submitted to the Regional Planning Commission.
Amanda, to follow up with you, you sent that email to me about the grant opportunity for historic buildings. I did forward that on to both Chris Ruth, our facilities director, as well as Peter Beardmore, the current chair of the Capital Planning Committee, because the size of that grant meshes really well with some of the small to mid-small size projects that we may have coming up on some of the historic buildings in town, or potentially could be useful for some of the historic buildings that we may want to consider preserving, but we haven't really had the budget to in town.
Excellent, thank you.
Montechusett Joint Transportation Committee.
We have not met since our last meeting. We meet this week on Wednesday.
Okay, great. Minutes approval. We have minutes in the in the OneDrive. Lee found a trove of minutes that had been written but not presented to us, which is why you see some work there done by previous admin assistants. So we have a collection of minutes for June 9th. All dates are 2025. June 9th, July 14th, July 28th, August 25th, September 9th, and September 22nd. With 6 together, I'm hoping you've already read. If you want time to review, feel free. If you want to wait and push it off to the next meeting so you can review in depth, say the word. Otherwise, I would look for a motion.
I did have one question. On the September 8th minutes, for the A&R plan, it notes 823. Chair looks for motion to endorse. I don't understand what the 823 is.
I don't know.
I mean, I would just say if that gets deleted, I would move that we delete that and approve the remainder of the package of minutes as they are unchanged.
Yeah, I have no clue what that is. I would be, oh, I bet that is, no, never mind. I was wondering if it was an 8:23 at night, but if we were handling an 8:20, an A&R at 8:23 at night, I feel like we would remember that night because we do those first.
Yeah, I've gone through that same logic train.
I would share the same opinion then. So I would look for a motion such as to approve the the comprehensive package of minutes with dates as previously discussed, with the exception with the exception of removing the single line beginning that says 823. Chair looks for motion to endorse, to have that removed from the September 8th minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Burney.
Aye.
Mrs. Reed.
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer.
Aye.
And an aye from myself. Minutes approved. Meeting schedule. As a reminder, we meet here at the Bellotta Meeting Room in hybrid format at our beautiful town hall. Unless otherwise noted, we meet at 6 p.m., second and fourth Mondays of the month. Speaking of which, our next meeting is slated to be, and we've set things for, February 23rd. Is March 9th the town caucus?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We have a meeting scheduled for March 9th. That is the town caucus. I am up for reelection, so I will need to attend the town caucus that night. In addition, we have 2 other seats that are up as well, one of which is a seat that's currently unoccupied, one of which is a seat that Mr. Burney is currently occupying. And do we want to meet that night with just 3 members? Do we want to reschedule that meeting? Do we want to cancel that meeting? I'm a little worried with how backed up we see him at the moment. Canceling doesn't feel great to me. I think rescheduling would be a better choice if we're going to go that route.
I would agree with reschedule.
Tuesday, the 10th?
Tuesday is select board. Okay, we can pick a date. We don't have to handle that right here in the meeting. I think the Mondays are fairly open, so if we look forward or back one Monday from that, check your calendars, let me know if there's a date that doesn't work. Otherwise, we'll pick one. Based on
The only concern
availability.
with moving back would be new applications and making sure that we're meeting whatever timeframes we give folks.
Good call, so probably moving forward a week. Yep, makes sense.
And that would put us back to back. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm more just
Okay.
making sure that we're all on the same page about that.
I'm quietly hoping that makes our meeting on the 23rd a light meeting.
Fair enough.
That won't happen. I know our life. I may be missing I have to double check the calendar. I might be missing the first meeting in April. No, there's no way because I'll be fine. Okay. So, no, we're good. Great. Okay. So let's plan on moving the meeting on the 9th back a week. I'll just check your calendars later tonight and verify. Let me know if there's an issue. I got to double check mine, but I think that makes sense.
March 2nd?
What?
March 2nd?
Sorry, back as in forward.
As to the 16th.
To the 16th.
To the 16th.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I'm like,
Yeah, no, just read my mind next time, please. It would be helpful.
trying, sorry.
All right. Okay, board comment.
I have a question.
Excellent.
According to the town website, unless it's wrong, speaking of town caucus, it looks like you and Mr. Wilsmer and Mr. Burney are all.
That is incorrect.
That's incorrect.
Yep, no, the numbers I gave you are correct. I could even tell you, I have in my email somewhere, look, I'm up for my regular election cycle reelect for a 5-year term. As evidenced by the fact that I said I have to be a town caucus, it is my intent to
Run again?
run again. And the open seat and Mr. Burney's seat are both what do you call them?
Midterm appointments.
Yeah, midterm, election in this case, I guess. But yes,
Midterm elections.
midterm elections. I don't know off the top of my head what the dates are on those. Mr. Wilsmer is up next year, if memory serves.
Okay, got it.
Or unless, did you beat Tim onto the board? Oh, no, he was different. We'll see. I don't remember. I have it in my notes. But I did confirm that with town clerk because the town website didn't make sense for how our terms work. Okay, any other board comment? Hearing none, I want to turn to the board and say thank you for dealing with a mostly remote meeting tonight. That's always a little trickier. I really appreciate the effort you put in. I want to turn to the public who aren't in the room with us but are watching on TV and say thank you for putting up with another planning meeting. Hopefully you learned a little, and if not, well, at least you're helping out the town by watching. Thank you so much. I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Burney,
Aye.
Mrs. Reed,
Aye.
Mr. Wilsmer,
Aye.
and an aye from myself. All right. Thank you, everyone out there in TV land. Have a wonderful evening. We will see you in a couple weeks. Have a good night, Lunenburg.
Thank you.